Hello, everybody, and welcome to X-Marks the Spot with me, your host, Richter Hammer. And joining me, as per usual, is Chriz the Mole,
And hello out there, wrestling fans. Woo.
Marcus Shadow,
What's up?
and James Phoenix.
Hello, people of the internet.
And I have to ask, Rick,
Mhm.
just once on this, based on what we were talking about in the previous review about roll calls and stuff, just once, can we please introduce this as Hammy, Moley, Jimmy, Marcus, we're the X-Pound Squad.
We should do that for one of our shows, yes.
Yay! I need to be all our intros from now on X-Pound. Because, that's what wrestling fans want to hear. References to Spirit Squad, but not Dolph Ziggler.
I only remember Mikey.
Mikey. Before we get started, I'd like to semi-correct myself from last week.
Kenny!
I didn't notice it.
Mm.
Oh, God, Kenny Dykstra, yeah. I'd forgotten about him.
I only remember him because every time he got beaten up, I remember the commentator saying, they killed Kenny.
Wasn't he the one that they were like pushing out of that, which is funny?
Yeah,
Yes.
he was. He had a pretty cool entrance and stuff, and his handling that he did was kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, I didn't notice it last week, but I noticed it this week because, again, I now pretty much almost exclusively watch Raw on Hulu, except for tomorrow because tomorrow's Labor Day, so I'll be home. But so in the intro, Charlotte's actually in the intro. I don't know if she was in there last week. My guess is she probably was, but she's in there for all of like 2 seconds immediately before Paige. Like it flashes her and then Paige, and I'm like, okay, where's Becky Lynch? Like she's the one member of the entire
Becky Lynch is
Revolution.
there too.
She is. I didn't notice her. She's like the one member of the.
It cuts from Becky Lynch to Charlotte to Paige with equal amount of time.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it again next week when I watch it next week because, like I said, this last week I actually noticed Charlotte, and I'm like, oh hey, Charlotte was there. I think that was Charlotte. It's like so fast.
Yep.
Like, why do they do that? Why do they do it separately instead of putting it together so you can actually tell it's the three of them instead of boom, 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 where you can't tell? And the only one you can really tell is Paige because it seems like it lingers on Paige a little bit longer because she's the last one they show before they cut to somebody else. And I'm like, oh no, that's horrible editing.
They might linger slightly more on Paige because they probably got better footage of her. I mean, in a Raw ring, but yeah, they do the quick cuts between them, which it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct myself for that because I know last week I said, hey, they don't show the other ones. Well, they kind of did, from what I could tell. But it's so fast, I probably missed it last week. So yeah.
But wait, that was one of your awards. That means this week to make it up, you need to give 6.
I don't have 6.
It's cool. Just after Jim gives one, just say, I already have. Oh yeah, I got that too.
Sure, I could do that. Challenge accepted.
Why not? It works for the other 5.
Wow.
He's not wrong.
Except for this week, because I know you don't have 2 of my awards this week because you told me what your non-Raw awards were. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any awards from Raw this week besides one, ish.
Okay. Fair enough.
One-ish.
It's about the reactions to Raw more than
Gotcha.
Raw itself.
Fair enough. Over to the Hammy one.
All
The
right.
Opry Tower.
All right, so as we usually do, we're going to go through up to 5 awards that we had, highlighting the good, the bad, and the ugly from the previous week in wrestling, and then our match and promo of the week. So with your...
Given that this is X-Marks, shouldn't it be the good, the bad, and the smarky?
I was going to make the comment of the good. Is that Dude Love, the bad's Cactus Jack, and the ugly's Mankind?
Ah!
Yes. The 3 faces of awards.
Pretty much.
All right, so with your first award, take it away, Marcus.
All right. So I'll start with Raw and then work my way to not Raw.
I had that too.
Okay then.
I'm kidding, it's just funnier to do it before you give the award. When you say, okay, I got an award from Raw. I had that too.
All right, so my first award, I call it the Monday Night Icon Award, and that's for Sting's promo at the top of the show because it was pretty good. It did not get my promo of the week, of course. But I have to say, I don't know why. To me, it was a little weird hearing him say, "This is Monday Night Raw." I'm like, those aren't words I should never hear coming out of Sting. I don't know. To me, it was a little weird. I'm like, weird. Sting is saying Monday Night Raw. But that was a good promo. He still got it. He looks like he's in great shape, and I look forward to the match. I don't know if anyone else thought it was kind of weird to hear Sting say Monday Night Raw.
Not really. It was bound to happen.
True. Oh, fuck's sake.
In fact, he already said it when he was hyping up WrestleMania. But nice way of cutting him off, Rick.
You're welcome. I didn't actually do that. That would have been funny.
Rick has all of us on speed dial instead of that long-winded awards show music. He just wings us.
That's actually. Richter will remember that. All right, so Mole, your first award.
My first award, and I think everyone here will appreciate the name of this. Live people. Thank you. But yeah, I had to reference the fact we say that in all our recordings, but whenever something goes wrong. But yeah, John Cena may have been injured, and this will progress. I do have all the stuff of the overall progression. John Cena may have been injured at a WWE live event in Hampton, Virginia on Friday night. According to fans at the show, Cena went down during his matchup with Kevin Owens. Which, fair enough. And then I saw a lot of people blamed Kevin Owens. It's not Kevin Owens' fault. It happened when Cena himself fucked up his own move of the sunset flip. He then made a tweet about many times life will hit you hard, knock you down and hurt you. Preserve, never give up, never do your best to get up, and keep going. Hashtag NGU, which I'm assuming stands for never give up. I'm assuming it's not New Garage Underground. I don't think that's his musical scene. But sources then say he's fine, and after having the minor neck injury, he was back to working live events on Friday, and he went back to going against Kevin Owens. Which, yeah, the sunset flip, I've seen the video of. I'm not sure if you guys have seen I'm not sure, Rick or Jim, did you guys see the flip?
I did not. I didn't even.
I did not
this.
either.
Oh, basically a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Kevin Owens must have injured him. It's like, okay, but he's not done that yet. But then when you watch the video, basically, and one of the medical people who reviewed the footage and stuff have said this, because Cena had that nose injury. Because he broke his nose and because he's had his neck injury, if you've hurt your nose, it can mess up your neck. So basically, as he did the sunset flip, where he flips over him, he didn't tuck his own head, and his head just smacks right down onto the mat. It looks bad, but I'm glad Cena was okay, and I'm glad it wasn't a major injury. Just because, as much as I know we don't like him and stuff, I'm assuming no one here wants to see him paralyzed for life because he messed up a sunset flip in a live show.
I'd rather not.
No.
Yeah, I'd rather not also.
Okay, cool. So, back to Hammerstein.
All right, so Jim, your first award.
Alrighty. So, let's see here. My first award, well, I guess if we're gonna follow Marcus's lead and do Raw awards first, I guess I'll start with my Raw awards. And my first award, I gave it to The Black Sheep Cometh for Braun Strowman just destroying Dean Ambrose and being impressive, because that was just kind of awesome.
I also have that as an award, sort of. That's my second one,
Nice.
and I call it the Brawn Behind the Brains Award.
I will also nitpick your award, Jim.
Feel free.
Last week, he cometh. This week, he stayeth. Thank you.
Touche.
But yeah, basically, like Jim, my award is primarily for Braun Strowman because wow, but it's more Wyatt family is now, to me anyway, they're interesting again, and they've made them a stable and kind of a legit stable again. They're a threat, and the fact that Strowman single-handedly destroyed Ambrose and Reigns, I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see where this is going because holy shit.
It does seem pretty cool. Although I will say, which I don't know if you'd agree or not, I slightly disagree on the Wyatt family being a threat.
Well,
It looks
Strowman's
like
a threat.
Yeah, Strowman's a threat, and the Wyatts now look like the Nexus when CM Punk was with them. He was a threat, and the others were just there. Which is I imagine we all know what's going to happen with him. He's a big dude. He's debuted. He's dominant for a while. He's a heel, so he needs to be throwing his stuff or his weight around. Second he loses, he'll be jobbed out to main event. He'll be jobbed out to like mid card and stuff like that. Basically like the Umaga and Vladimir Kozlov and all those people.
Actually, my guess is what'll happen is they'll give him the big push. They'll keep him with the Wyatt family. The instant he starts to lose, like when they decide, okay, he's done what he needs to do, they'll probably kick him down to NXT since he completely bypassed it to the main roster.
I could possibly see that, but from the looks of it, he doesn't need to go to NXT, and I don't mean an insult to NXT, Rick. I just mean it looks like he's already learned WWE style.
Yeah.
That'd be like sending Rhino to NXT. It would make no sense. They'd never do that. Oh, wait.
Or Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Samoa Joe I could understand because he's not been in WWE. But
Yeah.
Or the Brian Kendrick.
Or Zack Ryder. You know, as kind of crap as he is, how long has Zack Ryder been around? Does he really need to go to NXT?
yes, he wants screen time to pay for food.
Oh. Does he care if he's getting paid regardless?
Didn't someone say that their contracts in WWE they get a really low amount unless they got TV time?
Oh, do they? I didn't know
Probably.
that. I know they get more if they're like in pay-per-views and stuff. That makes
Yeah.
sense that they get paid more if they actually have TV time. Fair enough.
I may be wrong.
Well, I know some of the people get, or at least did get, portions of their merch sales. So I imagine if you're on TV, you're more likely to sell your merch.
Sell merch, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Although Zack Ryder, I don't think has that problem. He tweets fucking everything.
Pretty much.
Which is why, like I mentioned, I wasn't going to purchase it. The anti-Cena T-shirt.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, why would you people buy this? You're idiots, because that's Cena merchandise. Doesn't matter if it's against him. He's the only person on it. It's Cena merchandise. By buying that, you're giving him your money. And it's like, why?
I thought it constituted a Seth Rollins T-shirt.
That's not the anti-Cena's ones.
I think it means the older, like from.
Yeah,
the
I meant the
Cena
old ones. Yeah, the
years
Cena.
ago.
Let's go Cena in small letters and Cena socks in all capitals and stuff.
No. I meant that he came out I meant the You Can't See Me.
I assume that's a Rollins shirt, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's the Seth Rollins one, but I meant the one that's just like Richter said, like Cena socks, and Cena's the only one mentioned on that shirt.
That is true. That is true.
Which means I bet you Cena was like, all the way to the bank.
Probably.
I hope so. I would love him to do like a vaudevillain style laugh, like.
I'd love it if he's like, okay, can all the anti-Cena people come into the ring right now? And then in the middle of the ring, he goes, okay, now here's a list of the money I've made on the merchandise, and just holds up like a giant receipt and goes, here's all the money you guys gave me. Thanks for that. Thanks. I want to shake each one of your hands. Who are you? Asks them their name. Oh, your name's, I don't know, Kenny, since we just mentioned him. Your name's Kenny? Cool. Hi, Kenny. Glad you're a massive Cena supporter. Thanks for that, mate. And then goes to the next one.
Me and the Cena sucks guy hugged it out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my god, Cena's turned his back on the WWE Universe. No, maybe you shouldn't turn your back on me. It's relevant since it's still the whatever the fuck it is at Disney. I'm kidding, it's not.
Or is it?
No, because I think you mentioned in the one of the last videos you mentioned it's officially fall. Hence, we did the fall TV reviews.
That is true. Although the calendar begs to differ with me.
Yes.
Well, you're either wrong when you do summer at Disney and you're saying it's officially fall, or you're wrong when you're saying it's officially fall. Either way, you're wrong. I don't even care how, I just appreciate it. But I believe
Technically, I'm just going by with one other thing to say, because the media says it's a fall TV season that starts in September, but the calendar says the fall doesn't start until September 28th, so...
Yeah. But their shows that start in September will then bleed through fall and then go on winter hiatus. Therefore, it's the start of their fall season for TV.
Fair enough.
Boom!
Back to Hammy.
Yeah, back to Hammerstein.
All right.
Or Marcus gave his second already, so you can skip him this round.
Yeah. So my first award.
I was about to say, wait to invalidate Richter, dude. What the hell?
That's what he do.
That is what he do, apparently.
All right. So my first award has two names, but it's either "Welcome to the Club, Brother" or "Bad News, Zahara." Just because I'm sure everyone heard that Seth Rollins' girlfriend got fired for her 2012 Nazi propaganda stuff and a picture of the pony with dressed up as Hitler and her borderline racist comments about Disney Princess Tiana. So,
Which for anyone listening, please log in right now to the SAD app and vote on which name you want the most. Thank you.
we should totally not do that. That's a good idea.
God, now I want Richter to develop the SAD app. That'd be amazing.
But yeah, I saw that and I was just like, wow, okay then. They're just gonna start dropping like flies. Also, like, really, how much is Rollins didn't the whole thing? He lost his fiance with her, so like, man, she's bad luck.
Also, didn't they just show him with her at like NXT Takeover?
Yeah, and she apparently
she
the
just
day
debuted
before.
on NXT.
Yeah, is like Solomon Crow's sister, like the day before.
But
Wow.
I will also say though, I don't think Seth Rollins should be surprised because, as like you mentioned, she hooked up with another person's fiance. She's not a good person.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's true.
It's like when Marcus and Richter fooled around when he was engaged.
I don't think that's how that happened.
Oh, were you not engaged when you two fooled around?
Yes.
Everyone's played the cookie game.
I am intrigued as to what that is.
Basically, and I don't know if it's an actual thing, basically you're supposed to masturbate onto a cookie, and the person who comes last has to eat the cookie, and a load of people were saying that's what which I know it can't be because they're from the US, I believe, but a load of people over here were saying that's why the band Limp Bizkit was called Limp Bizkit, because they were playing that game where they had to go limp onto a biscuit.
Wow.
And so the cookie game.
All right.
And if you want to play that, yourself, please send Richter a Twine video on the SAD app.
I was going to say the SAD app will have all the instructions you need.
Welcome to the first ever rated X edition of the X-Smarks show with Richter Hammer.
I disagree. We've gone into categories about pornos and stuff way too often on this. I'd be surprised. I'd be more shocked whenever we get the first PG episode of X-Smarks.
That's true. All right. So, Marcus gave a second one. So, Mole, your second one?
Second one, the opening crawl. It wasn't very clever. I just really wanted to reference the opening crawls. I do appreciate the good opening crawl on Star Wars. WWE has now removed, more on why when we get to Jim, has removed Jimmy Snuka from the opening intro of their program. He is now replaced on the Now Then Forever intro thing with the late Dusty Rhodes and Roddy Piper. So, yeah.
Well, that's good then.
Yep.
So I think we're one step closer to China being in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Because isn't Snuka in there for now?
For now.
Okay.
But I also find it weird that they're like, yeah, we can take away your Hall of Fame stuff. It's like, okay, what are you gonna take away? Like, let's say that right now, could WWE be genius? Could they take away Jimmy Snuka's Hall of Fame ring? Then, if he is cleared and proved to be innocent, next year we know who the showrunner's gonna be and who's inducted into the Hall of Fame. Because how amazing! That would be amazing on Raw this week, this time, into the Hall of Fame. Superfly, Jimmy Snuka. Like, wait, didn't we do this? Am I watching a repeat right now? What? But yes, that was my award uno. Or two.
Or two. All right. Jim, your second award?
Alrighty. Well, since Mole segued into it, I'll go off the Raw awards for a minute. And Superfly grounded. Because Jimmy Snuka was unfortunately this week arrested and charged with murder for the murder of his girlfriend 32 years ago.
Yep.
Because there is no statute of limitations on that, unfortunately.
Or fortunately?
Well, fortunately, depending on your perspective. So he was arrested at 1:50 p.m. on Tuesday at the Lake County Central arraigned at the Lake County Booking Center in New Jersey under $100,000 bail. And basically, back in May of '83, he was wrestled on a TV taping of the Allentown Fairgrounds in Pennsylvania. When he got back to his hotel room, he alleged that he found his girlfriend gasping for air and oozing yellow fluid from her nose and mouth.
And
Jim's acting it out for us.
I will say, well, Jim did that, which is ironic. Thank you, Rick. I muted my microphone because I was coughing, but the second, but when Jim turned around and said, "Unfortunately," I'm like, "What?" Part of me's thinking, did he just say it's unfortunate you could be arrested for murder because Hall of Fame ring?
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for your statute of limitations.
Yeah. And like I said, you're Power Force representative, people. It's okay to kill people as long as you sell merch.
Alleged. We don't know anything.
Well, it's WWE. That's okay, but you can't do porn.
You can't say alleged. We don't know anything. Because what we're talking about is you saying, unfortunately, to the fact you could be arrested for murder later on. That's not allegedly. That's in our recording.
Well, unfortunately for him.
But to be fair, Mole, unfortunately, in the country that Jim and Marcus and I reside in, unless it's proven in a court of law, I think we do have to say alleged, even though it's bullshit, because he totally just said it.
Oh, I do. Yeah, you do. You have to do that. And I also love how you can say anything, like we've mentioned.
Yes, yeah.
Marcus Shadow totally masturbated to Jimmy Snuka, allegedly.
Alleged scalping.
See? Marcus can't get mad. I didn't say he did it. I just said it was allegedly.
Funny.
The sad app is available with all purchases of a $5 footlong, allegedly.
Be an awesome cross promotion.
Yep, and if you hold it up to the screen, you get an animation of Richter's head going, feed me more. But
now, we all know Ryback does not deserve to be mentioned in the same vein as Richter Hammer.
Yep, but now I believe Jim has finished choking on Dick, allegedly. So back to Jim.
The power of allegedly.
The power of allegedly.
Allegations.
So anyway, allegedly he alleged that he found his girlfriend Nancy Argentino gasping for air and oozing yellow fluid from her nose and mouth at the hotel room. She died the following day from traumatic brain injuries. She also had a number of cuts and bruises, which suggested domestic abuse. The autopsy report stated her injuries were consistent with being hit with a stationary object. They suggested the case be investigated as a homicide. No charges were filed until now. The investigation was reopened last year when Pennsylvania's Morning Call newspaper published an in-depth story on the alleged murder, which led to a grand jury investigation that ultimately resulted in Snuka being charged. The thing being that basically he had given a statement to police back then as to exactly what happened, basically exactly what had happened. And apparently he published an autobiography about 2 years ago with a completely different story in it. And somebody called him out on it.
I will say two things. One, because both of these jokes, it's long enough we can make comments. One, the supposed blunt object she was hitting the head with, was it a coconut? Thank you. And number two, his girlfriend was oozing yellow liquid out of her mouth. Whoa, that's a kinky bitch. Thank you.
Okay then.
Righty then. Well, yeah. So, like I said, Snuka has been arraigned pending and is under $100,000 bail, pending a pending a trial, basically.
He's been reigned. I thought that was what happens when you win a Royal Rumble, but Daniel Bryan was eliminated.
No. That's reigned. He was arraigned.
Sucks to be Tamina.
Yeah, it should be noted the charges against him are third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter.
To be fair, I'm going to make the case, and I can't believe I'm going to be the one to say this. It shouldn't affect Tamina. And
But
two,
it will.
if it does affect Tamina, I'm going to make the case WWE are massive hypocrites.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they already?
Yeah, we already knew that, but go into the reason why this time.
They already
Allegedly.
are. They already are, but I mean the fact Scott Hall has admitted that he murdered someone. And yeah, go buy the Click DVD.
That didn't stop them from, Chris Benoit.
I'm pretty sure when Chris Benoit murdered someone, they did erase him. This is a case of not erasing him.
I was going to say, they erased him. They didn't erase Scott Hall.
Yeah, but they didn't erase Scott Hall. Although Scott Hall's murder was before his time in WWE.
Fair.
Oh, that makes it okay then.
No, that doesn't make it okay.
No,
but that's why WWE wouldn't
I
erase
feel like with Benoit is because he killed a kid. I think is,
I think
it seemed more horrific because I don't know what the Scott Hall one was, but probably wasn't quite as.
No, it
crazy.
wasn't as horrific. Scott Hall's was A, before he was wrestler in WWE, I believe, and B, also with the Chris Benoit one, he murdered, as Richter said, a kid, his wife, himself, and it was publicized heavily all over the news as a big target to target WWE. They would be stupid to highlight that. They had to sort of, semi-erase it.
Yeah, I picked up on that just the other night when I was finally catching up on my 2K15 storylines, and I played the Best Friends Bitter Enemies storylines, and they mentioned the WrestleMania 20 main event where neither Shawn Michaels nor Triple H walked out with the title.
They're not wrong from a certain point of view.
True.
Also, Great Khali, but no. I just wanted to make my Great Khali joke.
Didn't Khali murder like 3 people?
I believe Khali killed one person, but as I've mentioned in the past, it wasn't really Khali's fault because the promoter told the dude with head injuries that you're going to have to go out there or you're fired because they had different laws. So the second Khali did like a powerbomb to him, the jerking of the head killed him.
Ouch.
It wasn't even like Khali botched it up so much he killed him. Khali actually did it right, but the jerking of the head from that motion and the fall and stuff killed him.
Oh dear.
For more on that, go to the SAD app.
Allegedly.
Yes. Yeah, the alleged sad app.
The SAD app for the mini game of which one of these people killed which one of these people, and it has like a picture of Chris Benoit's kid, the guy Khali went against and stuff, and you have to draw a line to him like those games you get at the back of restaurants, maps and stuff.
Wow.
You know, I don't know, and I haven't gone to look this up, but why do we get the feeling if I do, I'm going to find out Scott Hall murdered a dude while wasted in a bar fight?
You may do. Like, I just know he's admitted to murdering someone, and I was like, okay.
Fair enough. I probably shouldn't have to say this, but given where this topic has been going, we at the X-Files do not condone murder.
Marcus.
Except murder of celebrities by Marcus Shadow.
Yeah,
We
but
can do that. I think we just accept it. I don't. Yeah, allegedly.
we just accept it. We're like, oh, that Marcus. That's Marcus. But no, it's a case of, with the Scott Hall one as well, I believe he may have also been arrested for it. Like, I believe Booker T had got arrested for shooting someone and stuff, so it's like, oh, whatever he got arrested for.
I think it was robbery for Booker T.
I thought, yeah, I remember armed in it, so it might have been armed robbery, like you said. But if he's been arrested for it, and he's been tried and stuff, and he's served time, I'm okay with it. Because I'm guessing he wasn't found innocent, then goes out and puts out a WWE interview where he mentions he killed someone.
Yeah. Actually, Booker T needs to be arrested 4 more times.
Yes. But back over to Hammy.
All right.
And that was Jim's.
Jim's second one. All right. So my second one. Speaking of which, keep it related here. This is the "It's Still Real to Me, Damn It" award for outside the Performance Center. There was a dude, I forget his name, I didn't write it down because I didn't really care, that was shot by the police after trying to break in on, I believe, I'm trying to remember when this was, but obviously within the last week. But yeah, he tried to work for him, and they had like a restraining order against him, and rumored he was obsessed with one of the NXT women, but
oh great,
yeah.
Isn't that gonna completely fuck up the UFC pay-per-view?
But yeah, I was like, wow, dude, this like shit got crazy last week.
Pretty much.
Nice. I also love the fact I made a double joke there. Just because I still remember CM Punk not being allowed in the arena when he worked there, because they were like, "You don't look like a wrestler, sorry, you're not getting in." He's like, "Wait, what?" I'm CM Punk, and I think he said at one point, he's like, "Look, I'm on the truck," and the dude's like, "No, you're not coming in."
I think at one point he was banging. I think he was a champion. He actually pulled out the fucking belt, and they were like, "No, you're not coming in."
We don't believe you.
Did you guys see the Swerved where they did that as a Swerve joke?
I did see that one.
So that was fucking hilarious. Because they had this... Richter and Jim, did you see Swerved by chance?
I did not know.
Basically, they had Kofi Kingston bring out people that Kofi Kingston chose, so the producers had no prior knowledge of which wrestlers were going to come walking out that door. And then they were going to put this big black dude in his way as fake security and not let him back in. So, he's just like Seth Rollins and stuff like that.
Is he gonna be black?
Which is fair enough. Well, he was. He doesn't have to, but he was. But one of the guys that Kofi picked, and he said specifically, because this week's, and I have one from this week actually later, but this week's Swerve was kind of a behind the scenes of the last several episodes of like wrestlers and stuff talking about behind the scenes stuff. And Kofi said the reason he picked those people is because he knew how they'd react. Because obviously he's friends with all of them. So he picked Ryback. So Ryback comes walking out, and they're talking stuff, and then they come back, and the whole thing is, this guy's like friends with Kofi, knows Kofi is going to let Kofi in and isn't going to let the other guy in. The one problem is Ryback is a good half a foot taller than the black guy.
Again.
So Ryback just walks
Allegedly.
fucking past him. He's like, no, screw you.
Again, why does he have to be black?
But I thought that was hilarious because he's like tries to stop Ryback, but it's like, if it gets to physical altercation, Ryback will just fucking run him over because he's that much taller and bigger.
Do you think it's hilarious that an oversized white man assaulted an undersized black man? Racist!
He didn't assault him. He just walked past him, and he like stopped him and tried to talk to him. And to Ryback's credit, because Kofi thought Ryback, he said, well, Ryback has like a short fuse and stuff. Ryback did not snap, but he was like, yeah, I'm on the show, dude, and like started talking to him. But unlike the other guys who would stop and talk to him, Ryback just kept trying to walk in, and it's like, right. And I think Ryback knew really if he wanted to, he could just walk through, and the security guard couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just hilarious that you're like, because compared to some of the other wrestlers, okay, this dude, the security guy, is pretty big. He's a security guy, big security guy. He's about their size, and Ryback just comes walking out, and you're like, okay, dude, no, you're screwed. You're not stopping Ryback from walking back in the building.
Ryback goes back in, guy takes a breather, he calms down, Kobe comes back with the big show.
And the thing I love, though, is
It's
because they
a
were
joke
trying to
against the guy trying to keep him out.
Yes, I can't
thing
wait.
I love-
I can't wait till the guy tries to keep someone out and suplex repeat.
Yeah, they want to get Brock Lesnar, but the thing I found really funny is, and I don't know if they showed this in the actual show that they aired for this, they might have, but at least for the behind the scenes thing, they cut back to the control room where the director is sitting, right? The director, executive producer, whatever. And when he sees Ryback comes out, he just can't help but bust out laughing because he's like, "Oh shit, this is gonna go horribly wrong."
He just busts out laughing. Ha! We just led the poor African American dude to get beaten up. Ha ha!
Pretty much. Well, this is the guy who produced Jackass. Does that surprise you? He'd laugh about that. I rest my case. Anyway, thought it'd be a funny anecdote.
It was funny.
Indeed.
While I still maintain peppered with racism.
Allegedly.
The only reason I say peppered with racism, because let's face it, if he'd been a big white dude, would you have said a big white dude, or would you just said a big dude?
Yeah.
True.
His color has no relevance to the story. It's not like Ryback's walking through him because he's black. Ryback's like, no, out my way. Secretly, we were filming the WWE Films version of Rosa Parks.
Yeah. Oh, I love Ryback's response too, because he's like, I need to see ID. I can't let anyone in without ID. Ryback happens to be wearing one of his shirts. He goes, dude, my ID is on my shirt. Because his name is written literally across his shirt. It says Ryback on his shirt.
And then they check his ID and throw him out because it doesn't say Ryback.
Well, no, the superstars never carry their ID on them if they're backstage, because it's usually in their duffel bags and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who the fuck is Skip Sheffield? Get the fuck out of here.
Yep. That dude, and he's all sad and dejected.
Yeah, my name's all over my shirt. That's not how you spell Goldberg.
Yep, I had to laugh when they showed of Rollins, because he did it to Rollins, and Rollins is like, dude, I'm the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
And the United States champion.
Not at that point in time.
Oh, okay.
That was before that. Yeah, but I'm just like, yeah, you're detaining the world champion from going back in the building.
Why not? Again, it happened to CM Punk.
True.
And they do look similar.
Yeah.
But yes, back to Hammy.
All right. So, Marcus, your third award?
Sure. My third award, and it's my final Raw award, I call it To Remain the Man. And it goes to John Cena for using logic and truth by exercising his rematch clause at Night of Champions. Because Seth Rollins basically comes out and starts, talking up about the Sting match and stuff like that, and about how, Sting is not in the same league as him, blah, blah, blah. Stephanie comes out and starts talking to Seth about the stuff, trying to calm him down a little bit. And they're talking about Night of Champions, and because Seth is like, you told me to come out here and call out Sting to find out where my statue is, and she's like, yes, you should call out Sting. Don't talk about the other shit, you dumb motherfucker. And he's like, fair enough, I will focus. I will not call out Sting. So he calls out Sting and gets John Cena. And John Cena's like, I know I was the last person you expected to see, but hear me out here. You see, because if my memory is correct, I still have a rematch for that title around your waist. Because he's like, you're going to be facing Sting for the WWE title, but I still have a rematch clause for that one. And at Night of Champions, I'm exercising my rematch clause. And Seth Rollins is like, no, that's not going to happen. And he's like, oh, that's not going to happen, huh? Well, guess what? Newsflash, that ain't your choice to make, pal. See, I'm going to talk to the real face that runs the place. And he turns to Stephanie McMahon and goes, Stephanie McMahon, I'm talking to you, and this is a simple yes or no answer. You see, it was the authority that announced that at Night of Champions, every belt will be on the line. So Stephanie McMahon, yes or no? Do I get my rematch at the U.S. title against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions? And Stephanie goes, yes, kind of reluctantly. And then Seth was like, what? And blowing his shit. And Cena just does the mic flip and walks off. And I'm just like, yeah, that was actually kind of cool. I like that. Whereas, like, she had to say yes because she's the one that said all the titles were going to be on the line. And Cena just walked down and called him on that and said, you said all the titles are going to be on the line, put all the titles on the line. So now Seth has 2 title matches at Night of Champions.
Yep.
Indeed.
I thought that was a pretty good promo. I thought that was kind of cool. And the fact that Cena used logic and truth and basically what the Authority said against him, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
And then he promptly went and bashed his own face in a week later. So we'll see what happens.
Well, head.
Head. Fair enough.
Head. Sorry.
Like I mentioned when we made a joke about Zordon being referred to as head, the way Keeper is referred to as Keeper in the last video. What does everybody want?
Yay.
What
Yes,
does
back to the
everybody
head.
need?
Pogs.
Yes. Pogs need to come back.
And in greater number.
Exactly. Just like Keeper, who we agreed should have been a Jawa.
Back to Richter.
Back to Hammy.
All right, so Mole, your third award?
And my third word, I've called it nostalgia goggles. Activate. No one here will be nostalgic for this but me. But former WWE announcer Todd Pettingill was talking on WPLG 95.5 radio over where Jim lives in New York City.
Chip-pop.
For those of you who don't remember Pettingill, he was the host of WWF Mania, Action Zone, the Slammy Awards, and various pay-per-views and countdown shows. And he says he basically shared his thoughts and his feelings, and one of the things he did is he mentioned he had a minor beef with Scott Hall. Didn't think I'd mention him twice in one podcast, but it came up. But he was there from 1993 to 1997. But he says he doesn't think he will ever be back because his time has passed and it would be too grueling for him to do a full-time schedule. But he wouldn't rule out being able to do a studio show if he was ever asked for the network. He also mentions he himself chose Michael Cole to succeed him.
Oh, nice.
Because Michael Cole worked on, what was it? It was some radio show, something that he listened to all the time and he really liked. And he's like, I like that guy. And he tells WWE to hire him and put him in his role and stuff like that when he left and stuff like that. That's cool.
Right.
I like Todd Pettingill. So yeah, back to Hammy.
All right, so Jim, your third award?
All right. Let's see what I want to go with next.
Number 3. That would be helpful.
Well, I'm going in different order. Let's go with
Okay, number
Bella
5.
Power. We're going with Bella Power. Because it was announced this week via the social media, Instagrams and whatnot, that I guess that they've apparently been dating and that the former Executive Vice President of Talent Relations and the General Manager of Raw and SmackDown, John Laurinaitis, is now engaged to the Bella Twins' mom.
Oh, I thought, based on that impression, I thought it was Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Ooh! Referencing that last week's podcast, we have continuity here. Which is more than I can say for the show we just reviewed.
Oh. But yes, so apparently John Laurinaitis will be the Bella Papa. Bella Power.
Bella.
Oh, you were
No,
going to call it
it's-
People Search?
Oh, it's the Bella Daddy.
The big bad Bella Daddy.
His nuts are now the Bella Twins. Oh.
Big Daddy B.
Nice. He needs that t-shirt.
Now every time Team Bella
Yes.
comes out, I want him to follow them down on the People Power scooter.
Except people power on the back and needs to say twin magic.
That too. But yeah, congratulations to the lucky couple of John Laurinaitis and the Bella Twins' mom, whose name I unfortunately do not have in front of me.
Her name is Patrice Bella.
No. Good try, though.
How do you know? You don't have it in front of you.
Because I know her last name was not Bella.
You weren't prepared for this.
I remember her last name was not Bella. That much I remember.
Mr. Accuracy didn't write down the names.
Oh, shush.
Her name's Bella, and if she appeared on WWE TV, thus I was using her WWE stage name.
Ah. Nice. So, yeah, there we go. I guess we will go back over to... Oh, hang on a minute. Wait a minute. Here we go.
Oh.
Finally found out her name.
Kathy, it's either Kolos or Kolachi. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. But, yeah.
Sounds coleslaw.
There you go.
Fair enough. Back to Hammy.
It's pronounced Laurinaitis now.
Yeah.
Well, right, yeah, they're just engaged. There has to be a wedding first, Debbie.
And also, this is the modern. Also, this is the modern day. You sexist pig. Sometimes the men can take the women's name, or they can keep their own, or hyphenate.
Oh God, hyphenating.
Yeah. like Brie Bella Bryan.
Yeah.
I hope their child then marries a hyphen, so they have 4 last names.
It's actually Brie Bella Danielson.
Like a fucking modifier from D&D equipment.
or Courtney Cox are correct.
That's true.
I don't think that's her name anymore, is it?
No, she's just Courtney Coxie now because David Arquette's a tool.
Well, yeah, they divorced, but when she was married, that's what they were. They were the hyphens. Yeah, you get the hyphens and the very last. I just thought it was relevant.
Yep. But yeah, did Jim hear what I said?
Which time?
Oh. When I was trying to correct him.
Oh.
Yeah.
No?
I said it's Brie Bella Danielson.
Fair enough.
Brian is his first name.
Technically, based on what the Bellas are, I'm guessing Bella's not her actual last name.
Yeah, their last name isn't actually Bella either. That's just their stage name. So on TV, she'd be Brie Bella Bryan. In real life, she'd be Brianna Garcia Danielson.
Oh man. So she's
Except for when she rolls out from underneath the bed and she's Nikki Bella Cena.
There you go.
So she's B cubed then, right? So she's one whole B better than B squared.
Pretty much.
All the bees.
All the bees.
With all the bees.
Not the bees! Not the bees!
I'm protected from 3-inch bees.
Yeah, and in fact, I had to remind myself that Brian was his first name. I believe, like on their Twitter or something, when she has her name written out, it actually is Brie Danielson. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because his first name is Brian.
Yeah, WWE had to switch it so they could copyright it.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Indeed.
So she's actually taken his last name for what I can tell.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Damn it, we should have done that. Back to Hamtor Rickamer. Copyrighted.
There you go. Alright, so my third award is a Wild Prince Pretty appeared for on Up Up Down Down with Austin Creed. He had Tyler Breeze on there, which is just funny to see him as a person, not like
That's a person.
his persona. Well, not like his persona. He wasn't playing a character. It was like him. And they were playing...
Alleged.
Yeah, he's an alleged person. But they were playing Until Dawn, which actually looks pretty interesting just seeing them play. It seems like it's a horror game, but like choose your own adventure. So like you're like there's different things that happen and you can influence who lives or dies. And it's kind of funny because there's this one of the characters looked really annoying, and Austin Creed is like, he's like, dude, you gotta kill that boop. Like he bleeps out like bitch, but he's like, you gotta kill that bitch. It's like she's annoying. Tyler's like, no, it's gonna work out. It'll pay off later. And he's like, no, man, you gotta kill. First chance you get, she's gotta die.
What were they playing?
Until Dawn.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
It just came out like Tuesday, I think, but it was pretty funny just to see them play it. And there's a horror. Oh yeah, and then there was the it's a horror game. So this kind of reminded me of oh crap, the Origami Killer one. Heavy Rain, thank you. But he reached for something and a bear trap caught like 2 of his fingers, and he's like, oh, and they're freaking out. And Tyler's like, no, I got to do it. And he picks up a knife and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, got chopped off. He's like, you could try to pry it, and he like pushes the button to do it. He's like, nope, you got to commit. And he's like, you didn't even debate that. He's like, nope, got to do it. I'm not gonna try to pry it. You just got to take the fingers off. That's how you do it. And he like cuts his fingers off. He's like, ah. And he's like, you just left. You didn't take your fingers. And Tyler's like, yeah, well, I don't. What am I gonna do with them? And Austin Creed's like, you gotta. I don't know. Don't you put them in like milk or something so they can reattach them later? He goes like, I think it's ice. And they're like debating that for a minute. And he's like, put a comment in the comment section of if you put them in ice or milk.
You put them in iced milk. No.
Yeah, and then one person goes, aren't you going for a PhD? Shouldn't you know this? It's like, aren't you trying to be a doctor? You should know what to put it in. It was actually pretty funny just to see them do it. And then like it just kind of stops and I'm like, I kind of want to see them play the whole game. Like just to see them react to or like snippets, not necessarily the whole thing, but it just kind of like stopped in the middle. And you're like, oh man, I'd kind of want to see them go through different chunks of the game just to see their reactions to stuff. But it was pretty cool.
That sounds funny.
That's Xavier Woods' secret. The PhD he's going for is in thugonomics.
That would be amazing. Oh my god, they should do that. It's like his gimmick. That'd be funny. All right. So Marcus, your 4th award?
Yeah, but in actuality, his PhD is in psychology, so therefore that we would not probably really be that familiar with how to reattach a finger.
Okay, does he actually have a PhD in psychology, or is he a fraud that's eventually going to be shot in the head and crucified when he goes away 1 week?
I don't know. You gotta ask Stacy. She'll tell you flat out without trying to sugarcoat it.
He's a fraud, but it's okay because he's super cool.
Not like that other guy that I totally knew was evil.
Yeah.
What game was this?
Transformers Devastation. I don't know.
Oh, the radio play.
The radio play you were
I
meant
got
to
it
be
now.
in.
I was in it, but I wasn't there for that episode, remember?
You were in the episode when she did that.
when she's like, he's a fraud, but he's okay. He's cool.
We hyped it out.
And the mole's like, why would you say that to him?
Yeah.
Yeah. But no. In actuality, Xavier Woods does actually have a bachelor's in philosophy, a master's in psychology, and is currently working toward a PhD in educational psychology.
Nice.
I honestly didn't doubt that was what he was genuinely going for.
Yeah.
I was just making the reference since we have Rick here.
Yeah. But yeah, my 4th award, and this one's for Jim, I call it the Days of Summer Award. These are the Days of Summer. Anyway, it's for Summer Rae on Unfiltered with Renee Young, because that episode was awesome, and you got to learn some things about her and like the genesis of her name. I love the story of the genesis of her name. Did anyone else see Unfiltered with Renee?
No.
I've not seen that this week.
That's awesome. Because originally her name was going to be Kylie Summers, until she talked to the late great Dusty Rhodes, and when she was talking to, because she had gone like 3 months without a name or something, they're finally going to give her a name. She was like, I just want a name. And Dusty Rhodes was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck calls herself Kylie Summers? Ain't no legendary even no name Kylie Summers. The fuck you thinking? like hell no, you ain't gonna be calling no fucking Kylie Summers. That's shit.
I like to think out there's somebody named Kylie Summers who just starts weeping.
But you're like, well, what do you want me to do? I can't just go in and tell them I don't. I can't go tell him I don't want the name. I want a name. He's like, no, I'll tell him you ain't gonna take that shitty ass name. So because Dusty Rhodes marched in there and said she ain't gonna be called Kylie Summers, she took Summer Rae instead.
And I was gonna say, I see it as the opposite, Richter. I see her as a woman out there that's like, yes, Marcus has never heard of Kylie Summers.
Whew.
Yeah.
Dodge that bullet.
Literally.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that Dusty Rhodes did that. He was just like, no, that's a shit ass name.
That's a shit ass name.
Pretty much. Kind of what she said. I was like, wow, Dusty said all that? Okay, then. But yeah, so because of Dusty Rhodes, she took... And he was actually smart about it. He was like, no, what you got to do is when you pick a name, you pick what you want your first name to be, and when you pick your last name, make sure your last name starts with the last letter of your first name so it rolls right off the tongue, and make sure it's only one syllable. Which goes against what his name is, but his name is his actual name.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
But it's, if you have like an actual stage name, that's not your real name. If you're coming up with a stage name, you do that because it's easy to market and it's easy to remember. Which I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
But also, he's just a common man.
Yeah, also Dusty Rhodes is his stage name.
Isn't that also his real name?
No, his name is Virgil Runnels.
Fair enough.
Hence why. Hence.
Yeah, but Dusty was his real nickname because of when he used to work as a kid and stuff, and he always used to do the stuff. And every time he came home, he said his dad said, "Oh yeah, you're covered in dirt," and he just kept calling him Dusty.
Yeah, but he's Virgil. I think he's actually Virgil Runnels Jr. And then obviously Cody Runnels and Goldust is Dustin Runnels. Runnels,
yeah. Which makes sense, but still, it still kind of stayed true to his real name of Dusty, and then the last name starts with R. But I mean, he makes a lot of sense. Summer Rae, right?
Yep.
As opposed to Kylie Summers, which is a cool name, but I could understand the logic behind what he was saying in terms of, marketing yourself. And, he's like, and don't forget that, whatever name you go with, you're going to be known by that name for the rest of your life.
Kylie Summers sounds like the perfect name for the daughter of Scott and Jean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think was Dusty's point of, yeah, it's a good name for, like, a character in something, like a show or a movie or something, but it ain't no wrestler's name. I'm like, okay, fair point, Dusty. But yeah, she talked about that stuff and how she got into the business and stuff and why she wanted to be a wrestler and stuff. Like she used to be a Marvel model actually at conventions.
Does anyone else hear Jim playing with toys and just humming over you?
Yes.
Nope.
But yeah, she used to be a Marvel model at conventions. She used to dress up as sexy Captain America.
Okay then.
That's offensive.
Surprised she didn't dress up as, Kylie Summers.
She needs to wait like 3 years, and then she could dress up as actual Captain America.
There you go.
Be female.
Yeah, that's offensive because if she dressed up as sexy Captain America, she would have to put on blackface, and that's just racist.
Ha!
Fact.
I also love the story she told with that too, because that's where she met Jerry the King Lawler for the first time. Cause she was, at the convention, and I guess King happened to be at the convention. It was
of course he was. That's where he picks up. That's where he picks up hot divas like Summer Rae.
Yes, but he was like, I guess she saw him like sitting in like the 1960s Batmobile or something, and so she, being a huge fan, she just wanted to, to say hi to him, maybe get his autograph or a picture with him, whatever. And she walked over and started talking to him about how much of a fan she was, completely forgetting she was dressed as sexy Captain America. To which King kind of looked at her and was like, "The fuck is going on here?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't be serious dressed like that. And she's like, "What? Oh, shit."
King's probably like, "Dear Panos, I never thought this would happen to me."
Exactly.
And so King, actually, and I have to give King credit for this, he said, "So you call yourself a fan, huh? You watch, wrestling all the time. Tell me what happened on the last week's episode of Raw." And she laid out everything that happened on the last week's episode of Raw because, of course, she watched it, fan. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, if you're serious, here's my contact information. Contact me if you're serious. I can get you into like the training facility or whatever, get you to talk to whoever you need to talk to. And let me know. And eventually she did, and boom, Summer Rae.
Nice.
And now instead of walking on Jerry Lawler in the Batmobile, she's walking on Dolph Ziggler in the shower.
Pretty much.
Allegedly.
Yep.
Now that's accurate this time.
That's what made it funnier.
Exactly.
I also love that she's from Carolina, and she doesn't use her accent on the show because she's. I think isn't she built from like Las Vegas, Nevada, or something?
Something like that. I was gonna be aware, Marcus. You are aware there's more than one Carolina, right?
Yeah, she's from North Carolina.
Okay, well, you
And
just
she
said
has an accent.
Carolina.
Oh, sorry, I meant North Carolina, but she does have the accent because when she was, sitting there talking with Renee, you could hear she had that little slight Southern twang that
Oh,
the Hardy Boys
yeah.
have and stuff.
yeah, that North Carolina accent
Yeah.
of like, hey guys, I'm gonna go work on my novel.
Nice.
Funny.
Nice. Classy. I like
Took
that.
me a second.
Ghost bump. But yeah, I'm like, oh, she should use that accent. That's an awesome accent. But like, oh, she has to make like she's from like Las Vegas or whatever. I'm like, oh, come on. But yeah, she seemed pretty cool, down to earth, huge nerd. I'm like, okay, I approve. So yeah,
I don't
Days of
know.
Summer Award to Summer Rae on Unfiltered with Renee Young. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a really good episode. And holy shit, that girl eats a lot. My God.
Which
They
one?
both do, but holy shit,
No.
both of them. Because they went to get breakfast, and they eat more than you do, Rick.
Challenge accepted.
That sounds offensive to poor Rick.
And like seriously,
me
you
more?
know how long Unfiltered is. By the end of that, like Summer Rae had devoured like 2/3 of her breakfast. I'm like, Jesus, girl, what the hell?
Yeah, you are aware of how many calories you burn, how much energy you go through when you're throwing other girls around a ring all day, right?
You do realize she doesn't do a whole
That's
lot of
Mike
wrestling at this
Tyson.
point in time, right?
She
No,
also
no, no.
she still goes to gym and stuff.
She
Yeah,
does.
they're still got to work out. For all you know, she's wrestling dark matches.
True.
And I'm gonna make the comment, which I know is dickish, but I'm okay with it. I'm surprised you didn't name it the Marcus because she was eating during a recording.
Oh, oh, burn!
You can't tell, but
Oh,
I'm doing
snap.
you can't tell, Marcus, but I'm doing an autumn pose right now.
Fuck you.
Nice, nice.
Wow.
Well, here's voices.
Oh come on, that's too perfect. It's like if you'd mentioned she'd been playing with toys and humming during a recording. Would we not have mentioned Jim?
I suppose. But yeah, go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's awesome. Back to Richter.
All right. Mole, your fourth award then?
Cliched as the title is, it's super relevant. Like,
Okay.
literally, like, super relevant. I don't need to do that. Hashtag relevant. But, Russo Swerve.
Mm.
This award goes to Eric Bischoff
Ooh.
on a clip that they've put out online and stuff to get people to buy the new Monday Night Wars DVD Volume 2, Know Your Role,
What
which
should we buy?
I totally want. Bischoff mentions he didn't want to watch most of the Monday Night Wars documentary because even though he's subscribed to the WWE Network, which is funny, but even though he was subscribed, he didn't want to watch it because he was like, it's gonna break my heart watching that because I know they're not gonna get stuff right. But he ended up watching an episode, and yeah, he said Vince Russo is, as he put it, bullshit. Because do you remember the episode where Vince Russo claimed that basically, and can Jim stop humming and playing with stuff?
I'm not humming.
I heard. But yeah, basically, do you remember the episode of the Monday Night Wars where Hogan ended up fighting Jeff Jarrett at Bash at the Beach, and it was Hogan refused to job to Jarrett, so Jarrett laid down, and Vince Russo was like, it was the right call, and I had already written the show months in advance, and this was the last call, and Hogan's always using his backstage powers, so I had to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, according to Bischoff, that's completely bullshit. According to Bischoff, my father had just died. I was at the funeral. Russo knew I'd be late, and I had the authority over him. Hogan and I had planned this story out months in advance, and we had talked to him and other people about it. When I got there, Russo had his own ideas. We argued back and forth on it, so I called a four-way conversation with the head of the network, Brad Siegel, who then basically agreed with me and said that, basically agreed with Bischoff and said that basically Russo's idea was shit, and they should go with Bischoff's idea. And then they go out to do the pay-per-view, and Russo comes out with Jeff Jarrett and does his idea anyway, without telling anyone he was going to do it, and completely destroyed the whole show. Also, Russo said he was being sued by Hogan for defamation of character. Eric Bischoff said he doesn't know 100% for sure, but everything he's heard tells him that's a complete lie. The only dispute he was getting at the time was the fact Warner Brothers was suing him because what he did was a breach of contract. So yeah, Russo swerve.
Fair enough.
It was actually a swerve.
Wow.
It was.
Wow.
But yeah, seeing old Bischoff with reading glasses and stuff, just sat in a chair talking like a normal dude about this, I'm like, okay, you've sold me on this.
Nice.
So back to Hammy.
In the ivory tower.
All right. So, Jim, your fourth award?
Sweet. My fourth award is Page Unturned. For Page, unfortunately, failing to beat the clock because of cheap team bad tactics, and yet that not being an immediate disqualification for Sasha Banks. What the fuck?
Why would it be a disqualification? It's a valid tactic.
No, they interfered in the match. That constitutes a disqualification.
I didn't interfere. They helped pull her out. That's not interference.
Yeah, they pulled her out from under a pinfall. That's interference.
No, they pulled her out from under the ropes. She wasn't able to get the pinfall on her. If she'd actually got the pinfall on her and then they pulled her out, yes, that's interference.
No, that's what happened. Is she pinned her and then they pulled her out in the middle of the pinfall?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Anyway, I could be wrong.
Okay, I'll stop doing that.
But I could have sworn that they pulled her out in the middle of the pinfall. Is what I think happened.
No, she hit a move, she went to pin him, and then they quickly pulled her out before she got the pin, before she could go to do the pin.
Yeah, I think she hit the rampage and Sasha had rolled, and then Paige was going to go to grab her, pull her back to pin. But when she went to grab her, the other two members pulled her out of the ring. Which, if Brie Bella had stuck to the strategy first, then fucking Becky Lynch would be the winner at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, she decided, I'm going to try to fight back against Charlotte, and then she got her ass kicked for it.
Fair enough. Either way, it was still bullshit. Paige should have won. I like Charlotte, but Paige should have won.
I agree. Assuming they're going to keep the belt on Nikki, Paige should have won. Unless they do some bullshit reason for why Charlotte loses, then I'm okay with that.
Technically, I believe at least from what happened on SmackDown, Charlotte's trying to get her match early.
Oh.
Charlotte's trying to get her match early because, as Nikki mentioned on Raw, she officially beat AJ's record in 14 days from Raw, which is like the week before Night of Champions. So regardless of what happens to Nikki in Night of Champions, she would have broke the record. And Charlotte's like, no, we need to get that record off her.
Okay, well then in that case, if that's the case, then yeah, I'm glad Charlotte won, and I hope she wins a Night of Champions. I would not be surprised if they did that. As long as Nikki breaks the record, I don't care what happens at that point.
Fair enough. Back to Hammy.
All right.
Yeah, tower.
So for my fourth award, sorry, Mole, this is the Call It Like a Match award on NXT Billie Kay versus Eva Marie match, where at the end of it, or well near the end, there was a point where Billie Kay was pinning Eva Marie, and the ref, I rewound, so I'm sure, but he goes 1, 2, and then like intentionally stalls for the 3 count because she like didn't kick out as soon as she was supposed to. And the audience just, in my opinion, I agree with them, like fucking turned on her and they just started booing like all get out, which, yeah, it looked, I actually, I'm not exactly. To be fair, though, I'm not sure how they saw that because the camera's right on there, so unless they were seeing it, but it looked pretty bad. So I'm wondering if it wasn't because of like last week's thing where was it allegedly Dana Brooke didn't break up the pin on Becky Lynch or whatever. So I'm wondering if it wasn't like some reaction to that because aren't the refs not supposed to know the end? So maybe he did know the end.
No, the refs know the end, but the refs are also supposed to, as far as I understand it, call each match as if it's a shoot, even though they know how it's supposed to end.
Yeah.
They pass information between the superstars sometimes, but they're supposed to call each match like a shoot. So in the event there's a fuck up, the end still looks legitimate, and that kind of thing specifically doesn't happen.
Yep. Which, like I said, which is fair enough. I will point out it is slightly hypocritical at the fans.
Mm-hmm.
They
But
didn't
if you
turn.
fans hypocritical, I don't believe it.
They didn't turn on Naomi when it happened on SmackDown. They didn't turn on the one you mentioned last week. They only turn on Eva Marie, like they're looking for a reason to turn on her.
Maybe, but at least with the Becky Lynch one, I think everyone was confused because the ref actually did it. Where this one, he like very obviously stopped.
Yeah, this one he stopped,
free,
but because of, like we mentioned, like multiple Divas matches on the run have had this, I'm guessing in Divas matches now the ref's going to be like, no, you know what, I'm gonna make sure this goes right. But it's weird that it's anything or anytime something like that happens with Eva Marie, the fans look for an excuse to turn on her. But if it's any other one, they don't. It's like, why?
Well, if anyone gets injured, people look for a way to blame Ryback, so I guess it evens out.
True, but he has injured more people than Eva Marie's fucked up.
Yeah. I was going to say, whenever someone gets injured, you usually don't have to look for a reason to blame Ryback.
Yeah, you don't, especially considering Ryback even posted a tweet about him throwing CM Punk and injuring him and laughing about it. Which means,
That's why
Ryback,
he got pushed.
which means, Ryback is definitely doing it in almost intentional, as people have said, because a load of the ones he's injured have said it seems like he does it to try and take their spot.
It worked.
He does need to eat.
It shouldn't work though.
It shouldn't work, but it did.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
But how many things shouldn't work and do?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in WWE.
Yeah. Too true.
Ivory Tower.
All right, so Marcus, your fifth match?
Award.
Or fifth award.
My fifth and final award, and this is actually goes back to something that we discussed a while ago. I call this the Real Deal Award, and that goes to Adam Rose's actual voice, which I heard on Swerved, because apparently there was an episode of Swerved where they swerved him by having
Giving him his gimmick. Oh, sorry, kidding.
No, they have ouch. They had Rosa Mendez pull him into this coffee shop to talk about like their entrance and stuff, and there was this guy, this plant in the coffee shop, who went by the ring name of Meatballs Marinara, and he did this whole thing trying to get Adam Rose to snap, which he didn't. But he spoke a lot on that. But on this episode, they, like I said, was the behind the scenes, so they actually had him, sitting down and talking about that episode and stuff like that. And just hearing him talk, I'm like, okay, your voice is awesome. It's perfectly fine. And I don't like how that Adam Rose character's voice is so over the top. I'm like, no, I don't like that accent. Your actual voice is far better than the one you're using for your character. Like, I like Adam Rose's actual voice. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's a little subdued, but...
That's because the Adam Rose voice has changed. When he first debuted, he used his real voice, and a load of fans didn't like it.
Really?
So he had to turn it up so they could understand it better.
Like, I mean, I think, be a little bit louder, a little bit, not as subdued, but...
I mean, when he was doing this, people were saying, oh yeah, he's shit on the microphone and he can't talk and stuff just because they didn't understand his accent. So he plays it up more with the Adam Rose one, so he's more enunciating so that the crowd can understand him more to please the ones that are like, boo, we don't like other accents.
Which I don't understand because he barely has an accent. He doesn't really have an accent when he talks, at least not from what I could tell. I mean, I could hear the accent, but it's not like, it's not like Sheamus when he tries to talk. He sounds more well, more like
I
you
would-
when you try to talk. You have an accent, but it's not the kind of accent that takes over. If
I
that
would
makes
also,
sense.
I would also say Seamus doesn't try to talk. He just talks. You're just being racist again.
That's what he does.
That's what I do. But yeah, he doesn't.
That's what
Adam
Mark
Rose
uses.
doesn't really have an accent, at least as far as I can tell. When he was talking, it's like he sounded, you know, perfectly fine to me. You know, and the slight accent made it cool. So it's kind of like Wade Barrett when he talks. Wade Barrett has an accent, but it's not. You know, it doesn't take over to the point you can't understand him. It's just kind of there and makes him cool. And Adam Rose is kind of the same way. I'm like, dude, you should just use that voice. And if anyone says they can't understand you, they're fucking lying. Or they fucking can't understand the English language, one or the two.
Which is funny because you were one of the ones that gave him an award when he first used his normal voice for not understanding him.
Really?
Yep.
Because I couldn't understand it when he used the voice that he uses for the character. That was my biggest complaint. Was I don't like that voice. He's hard to understand, and it just sounds dumb.
Yeah, that was when he first debuted on Raw and stuff, and that was what he normally speaks like when he started to enunciate it more to play it up for the camera, and it went a little over the top at times.
Yeah, but no, that's my point. That is not his normal accent. It's not his normal voice. When I heard him talk on Swerved, just literally sitting there talking to the camera or talking to Rosa in a coffee shop, whatever, he sounded perfectly fine. He did not have the over-the-top accent. It did not take over. Like I said, the accent was barely there. I'm like, okay, this is your normal voice. This is perfectly fine. What the hell is wrong with it? Why would you change the voice? This makes you sound legitimate, dude. This makes you sound awesome because it's you. It's not some send-it-up, over-the-top British accent that makes it hard for people to understand you. I'm just like, wow, your regular voice is fucking awesome. Use that. Which goes back, as I said, it harkens back to a discussion we had before, because I mentioned it before when he had spoken, I can't remember on what, but he had spoken using kind of like his regular voice, or maybe it was backstage and he wasn't using a send-it-up voice, and I'm like, wait, that's not as over the top. It sounds more like he's using more his regular voice. That's awesome. Use that. It's just when he's on the mic, when he's doing his promos, when he's being the Adam Rose character, like out in the ring and stuff like that, and saying stuff or doing like cutting actual promos, that voice is fucking terrible. I don't like that voice. His actual voice is far better. But maybe that's just a personal opinion. I don't know if Jim or Richter have an opinion on that.
Not really.
Not particularly.
Fair enough. Back to the Ivory Tower. That was my final word.
So, Mole with your fifth and final award?
My fifth and final award, which will surprise people for me giving it to this, I called it equals means equals. And that's because, again, fucking idiots. People were complaining after Raw that Sasha Banks looked weak in her Beat the Clock match because of how fast Paige almost beat her. And I talk about, boo, you should treat the divas equally and stuff, because she almost beat her in like a minute and a half. Which, I'm going to point out, that's how Beat the Clock challenges are. Whenever a guy's in a Beat the Clock challenge, they've had it before now, it's been like a minute left, and they've beat it. That's just the nature of Beat the Clock challenges. You can't call for equals means equals, and then be like, but we mean equals, but not when it's the one we like. It's like, oh, it should be equal.
Yeah, pretty much. And apparently they didn't watch or care about Brie Bella, because that's exactly what happened to Brie Bella. The only reason Brie Bella lost that quick is because she wasn't 100% trying to actually win. She was trying to evade the clock and then decided halfway through, you know what, I'm actually going to try to fight. But at that point, since she hadn't actually been trying to fight and win, and Charlotte just fucking destroyed her the instant she decided, I'm going to stand my ground. Whereas with Sasha, it's like her entire strategy was, because it was only like a minute and a half, whatever, was to evade and beat the clock itself, as opposed to trying to win. So yeah, she's not going to put up any kind of offense, and in that kind of situation, in that strategy, when your opponent, who's obviously going to be on the offense trying to beat you fast, puts up any kind of offense, you're fucking screwed. Because you're not in any position to defend yourself from said offense. One finishing move, you're done.
Which is why, like I said, yeah, that's how beat the clock challenges work.
Yes.
I mean, she could hit her finisher on fucking what you call it on Sasha in a normal match, go to pin her 1-2-3 at the beginning, is your kick out.
Yeah.
Same type of strategy in a normal match won't work. In a beat the clock challenge, it always inexplicably works, and you're like, oh, okay, so you can beat them that fast. Cool. And when they get to the pay-per-view, wait, you're having a 30-minute match, but you just beat them in like 2 minutes. What?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Beat the clock logic, but yeah, people didn't like it because Sasha.
See, if anything, I think it made her look stronger and better than any of the Team Bella Divas because it made her look smarter, in my opinion. Of, you know what? Brie Bella lost because she tried to fight. Fuck it. I only have a minute and a half. I'm not going to try to fight. I'm just going to try to stay the fuck away from her and let the clock run out. Which, that in and of itself, I have to disagree with because I disagree with the fact that the match ends and the clock runs out. I think it should be, okay, you failed at beating the clock, but the match should still continue until we have a victor. Maybe that's just me.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I could see that, but it's so they can cram multiple matches into one night. But
I know.
with that though, it's the people were complaining because even though you could argue she looked slightly smarter, wouldn't she look slightly dumber because her strategy almost made her lose with like 10 to 20 seconds left on the clock until her team had to rescue her.
Well, it would also show she has a better team.
But I would say that's like I said, that's just beat the clock logic.
Yeah. If anything, again, it still makes Team Bella look that much more retarded and that much weaker because it shows that Team Bad knew might come to that and were prepared to actually help her to just avoid getting pinned and avoid, until the time ran out. Whereas one could argue Alicia Fox and Nikki Bella did fuck all to help Brie and just let her get pinned a minute and a half into the match. So in that case, it makes Team Bad actually look better because it makes them look like an actual team that cared about each other. Now, I'm not saying Team Bad is better than Team Bella. Hell fucking no. Team Bella is infinitely better than Team Bad with, Sasha Banks notwithstanding, of course.
Like I said, though, it depends what logic you want to throw. I just go with the beat the clock logic because if you're going by the logic you used as well, you could also say it makes Charlotte look bad because the only reason she was able to win is because the actual team that has the title don't consider her a threat.
The only reason she was able to win that fast? Yeah, I could see that. That'd be valid.
But I wouldn't say they don't see her as a threat, whereas Team Bad and saw Paige as a threat, therefore it makes Charlotte look bad. I just see it as the case of it's beat the clock challenges. They just need to make it as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah.
It's like basically in a matchup, I know Cena could easily do an AA to say Orton and pin him 1-2-3. That move keeps him the fuck down. And he'll stay down way after the match. Last man standing, if he does it, he will definitely get up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, different matches have different logics for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could also take Beat the Clock and compare it kind of to the video game, because let's employ the Beat the Clock strategy, the strategy Sasha Banks employed. Put that into the video game. If you're going in there doing no offense, trying to avoid the person, and you get hit with a couple things, I guarantee you after a couple of moves and then a finisher, you're not getting up. Whereas if you actually try to fight back, the match is going to go a lot longer because you're actually fighting back. And therefore, the stuff that happens to you isn't going to do as much to you because you're doing more damage to your opponent, so therefore your opponent's not doing as much damage. Whereas if you're trying to do the beat the clock thing, every single move your opponent does to you is at 100% because you're not fighting back. It's like the video game logic. If that happens, you're screwed. You're not getting back up. Same with the beat the clock logic. It makes sense.
Yeah, but logically, if you're trying to do, as you said, be on the defense so you don't have to do it, wouldn't you be reversing? Or doing the thing of running out the ring and just running around the ring so she can avoid being grabbed?
Yeah, and that's what she's trying to do.
She wouldn't be stood in the ring for most of the match like she was, just sort of like just waving her arms.
I suppose.
Because waving your arms is a terrible defense.
I think it was more she was waiting for Paige to get in the ring, and then she was going to get out the ring, but Paige was just a little too quick and actually got her.
I meant when she, like most of the match when she was in the ring, a lot of it was Sasha stood in the corner just sort of doing that fake I'm getting ready to block type thing, but never reversing or blocking.
Fair enough.
You beat the clock logic. For more on that, see Royal Rumble logic. On how Big Show can easily get knocked out the ring by everyone. Then beat Royal Rumble, it takes everyone. Speaking of Big Show, back to Hammer.
Alright. So, Jim, your fifth and final award?
All right. I actually made a last-minute award change out.
Uh-oh.
So there's something else I wanted to mention more here.
Phoenix Swerve.
Phoenix Swerve. I was originally going to give an award for the Summer Rae Lana storyline with the locker room thing, but this is a better award. And I don't have a catchy name for this award because the last minute pinch hitter, so I don't have a catchy name for it. But if anybody's got one, if we were to throw it out, but this award is for TNA superstar Bram. You might formerly know him as Kenneth Cameron, one of the original members of the Ascension in NXT. And since we already discussed an assortment of felony crimes tonight, I figured we might as well add domestic battery and false imprisonment.
Yay.
So, TNA superstar Bram, on August the 30th, which is technically a day before the week started that we're talking about, but part of it's this week, so it counts. Back on the 30th, he was arrested at 6 a.m. They were called to a disturbance at a 58th Street South apartment in Gulfport, Florida. And they observed evidence indicative of physical altercation, and their investigation revealed that after the couple had been arguing, the woman felt threatened and sought refuge in her bedroom. Latimer, real name Thomas Latimer, followed her into the bedroom, closed the door, refused to allow her to leave, and then pushed the woman onto the bed and was holding her down by her neck.
What? When he opened up the door, she didn't just run him through with a sword? But I thought that's the logical thing to do if someone opens up a door.
I knew that was coming.
If they're threatening, yeah.
Yeah, you would think. She must not have had a sword handy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd make the case not if they're unarmed. Not a sword through the chest.
That's right. I keep forgetting you were there. That's right.
What?
Continue, Jim.
Anyway, like I was saying, basically, he held her down by the neck. Latimer's arrested over TNA Impact on the name. Bram was charged with domestic battery by strangulation and false imprisonment, which are both felony charges, and he was held in Pinellas County Jail for approximately 2 days, and on Tuesday morning, he was released on $5,000 bond for charges of domestic battery and $1,000 bond for the false imprisonment, for a total of $6,000 bond. However, this might get more interesting on Thursday. Because
he invade SmackDown.
No.
Oh.
Because the fact of the matter is, this was his girlfriend that this happened with. But the thing is that while they are strictly no longer together, Latimer's technically still married to Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, that's why I was like, when I saw that news, I was like, wait, he hit Charlotte or something? And I was like, oh,
that's what everybody was like, wait, did he beat a Charlotte? No, he had some other girlfriend. Because the thing is, this happened on Sunday. He was released on $6,000 bond on Tuesday for these charges. Yeah, they have a divorce hearing on Thursday.
Well, if he assaulted his woman to make sure he's a real man, I look forward to his upcoming podcast. Boom. Well, that's what WWE does with them now. Because Paul, no. Other stuff like that, or rape of Mike Tyson, Hall of Fame. It's like, what?
Pretty much, but yeah, I thought that warranted mention, because at first I'm like, oh, some TNA dude, nobody's gonna care, but then I'm like, oh wait, okay, he used to be in NXT. Oh, it's Charlotte's husband. Oh shit, okay, that should be mentioned.
Yep.
Your title should be "Don't Do It with Flair."
Yeah, pretty much. Do it without Flair. The opposite of Flair. Well, no, it's not the opposite of doing it with Flair because that's doing it like a boss, and that would insult Sasha. So no. But
And still, he's better than the replacement.
well, yeah, that'd be Victor, right?
I believe so. The smaller one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think Connor was one of the originals also.
Yeah, he was one of the originals on.
I think it was Cameron, Connor, Ricardo Rodriguez, and some other dude.
Yeah.
El Generica, or no, El Local, right?
El Local.
One of my favorite names for a wrestler.
That's a good name. Although, given that he was a luchador and didn't talk, he should have come out every week holding up a giant sign that said, "Go Local Sports Team."
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, so there we go. That is my 5th award.
There's no news, but WWE did re-sign Jesus to feud with Dean Ambrose. Oh my god, he's going to be their 3rd member.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it. Well, I don't know, Richter. Did you hear who the rumored 3rd guy is?
No.
Did you want to know who the rumored 3rd guy is?
Sure.
Virgil.
No.
Yes.
No.
IRS.
No. Baron Corbin.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm not sure how to feel about that.
That's out of nowhere, and
Yeah, pretty much.
no, I don't want to see Baron Corbin on the main roster. We have enough boring people on that roster.
Yeah, I don't know.
Logically, if they go to do a 3rd person, I will make a prediction for who it should be, but not necessarily who it will be.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the Uso who's commentating on SmackDown, since he's actually related to Roman Reigns and is a wrestler and is not doing anything. And is an expert tag matches.
As much as I don't like him, I like the idea of months ago to team him with Cesaro.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, these guys have partners that aren't competing. Just put them together. It'll probably work. It's somehow less bad than, the other stuff they do to put teams together.
Yeah, pretty much.
I agree. I agree. And yeah, like I said, with this one, like I said, Master Tag Team, not doing anything, can wrestle, related to the guy in the storyline. It writes itself, which means it won't be him.
It'll be The Rock.
Well, last time somebody related
Hornswoggle.
to Roman Reigns that could wrestle came out and helped him. He got booed. So.
Yeah, this is true.
No, it won't be the Rock, because again, that would make too much sense.
I don't think Richter was referring to the Rock, Marcus. He said the last one it could wrestle.
Hey,
No, I was referring to Jim. When Jim said it's going to be The Rock, I said, no, it can't be The Rock. That also makes too much sense.
Yeah, he doesn't have a film coming out. It's kind of horrible.
He probably does.
It's kind of horrible if you mark when his films are coming out. You can almost guarantee. You can almost like just pencil in that month and be like, okay, that month Rock will be on Raw.
Yeah, he does.
Also-
Isn't he currently filming Moana?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I think sometimes the opposite's true. If like The Rock shows up, you're like, there must be a movie he's got a hawk coming out.
That's
Yeah,
true.
There is.
But yeah.
There is, which is why I say people who like The Rock should make a note of when his films are out to mark it in their calendar. That'll be my Rock month.
Nice.
Oh, if there's any formal sleeps till Rock month.
Nice.
Yeah.
Promo from The Rock. Promo from The Rock.
And I was kidding, but yeah, I just wanted to see the Uso do something.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, I
nice.
think Uso makes the most sense. He should do something. Come on.
They could always go with the obvious choice.
What's that?
They need a 3rd man.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rollins needs support against 2 people at Night of Champions. Reunite the Shield.
That would be amazing. I would mark out for that.
Like, literally, if you just had, like, Cena about to win his US title, and boom, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns come out and interfere, and then during the Sting one, they do the same thing as well, obviously, and in between, they've had their 3-man matches. He'll have wrestled 3 times that night, making him be able to brag like fuck, and also the Shield would be back together to feud with the Wyatts.
But who are the faces?
Everyone.
Ha.
All the faces.
The face is the guy with the sheep face.
Fair enough.
That's why they put an extra face on him, so he's double face.
Fair
The
enough.
faces are the team of John Cena and Sting with their mystery third partner.
Hmm.
Can that one be an Uso?
No.
Yes, but it has to be the injured Uso.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it couldn't be the uninjured Uso with just half of Sting's face paint on him.
There you go. Perfect. That'll work even better.
Oh my god, imagine if that becomes the Usos' new gimmick, Rick.
Half a Sting
Wait.
face.
Half a Sting face on each of them, when they stand at the top of the ramp and do the fusion dance, the lights go out and Sting just appears when they've disappeared.
Yeah,
That would be the dumbest thing ever.
that would be.
Well,
No. Sting's. They need. John Cena's running a little low on allies. Sting's like, don't worry, we'll have a third member of our team because I'll bring out a member of my good friends, the NWO, and he gets X-Pac.
mhm. It needs to be that. Or it needs to be Hogan.
Ha.
Because that'll happen soon.
Yeah. Hogan is the third man. That's been proven.
Or here you go. Sting's like, hang on a second, I have my cell phone here. We should have backup in a moment. I just texted him.
I don't get it.
Well, you see. I don't know.
You see, that joke doesn't work because Nash's phone can only get texts from himself.
It's true.
No, they get text. From
No, I'm
Triple-
kidding.
they get
He's
text
on-
from
he's
himself
on a
using
friends
Triple
with
H's
myself
phone,
now.
though. It has to be
Yeah.
Triple H's phone.
That's be Triple H's phone. No, the third member will be fake Sting.
Ah. There you go.
No, it'd be Kane as fake Diesel.
Yes.
Yes.
Or the singer Sting.
Nice. Well, it was Sting and the Police, so
Mhm.
Shield did have the sirens in their intro.
There you go.
Yep. Oh my god, Sirens in the intro, it's Big Papa Pump.
Ah.
Yes.
Ah.
And Cesaro.
That's a,
Yeah.
that's a
They're the
sorrow.
Rescue Rangers.
Ah. But I believe it's match and
I
promo.
picture Scott Steiner with a Monterey Jack mustache.
Wear my cheddar hat. Holla if you hear me. Spike Dudley is Zipper.
Yeah, there you go.
He's the smallest guy I could think of.
Yeah, that works. He's
Yes.
he's the smallest guy you can think of when we regularly have people like El Torito running around.
That's true. I don't see Raw though, so I forget.
Fair enough.
I don't even know if Hornswoggle's still a thing. So
Do you think Spike and, what was his name, Big Dick Dudley, or whatever he's called, do you think they're all going to come back?
Big Dick Johnson, yeah.
No, Big Dick Dudley.
didn't Big Dick Dudley die?
He may
And
have.
that is like so many D's in a row.
It is.
I didn't know Big Dick Dudley was actually a dude.
Yes.
Yeah, his finishing move was called the Total Penetration.
Yes.
Okay then.
Yep.
Yes,
That's
Big
why
Dick Dudley
Marcus
died
has
in
that on
2000.
his shirt.
Big Dick Dudley died in 2002 at the age of 34.
Don't pretend like you know who he was. Yeah, I hadn't seen that he died, but
Yeah, he apparently died in 2002. However, I did notice here there was a
I just always remember at a certain point when it was like Devon, Bubba, and Spike. At a certain point, WWE people were like, "Where is Big Dick?"
Yeah.
Even I said, "Where is he?" But match and promo.
I gotta get my
Yeah.
fifth award.
Although it is noted, however, that from in 2002 to 3 there was a first and second annual Big Dick Dudley Memorial Show put on by USA Pro Wrestling.
Hey, Rick, I have to ask,
Yes.
what the hell kind of show are you running today when I'm the only one that validates you?
I don't know.
I have to disinvalidate him to join in with you two.
He's
You
But
guys
I've
always
been-
do it.
But I've been validating him this entire recording.
Which means I get a day off from it.
Fair enough.
This is Halloween.
There is logic in what he says.
Anyway, back to the Ivory Tower for his final award.
The Ivory Tower.
All right, my fifth and final one is called the Say What Award, and so it was on NXT, but they filmed it last week's or whatever. After this 8-man tag match of Enzo Cass and the Hype Brothers versus whoever they fought. They were talking to him backstage, and it's like, how do you think about your big win in Brooklyn, that kind of stuff. And then there's a little disagreement because two of the guys are from Jersey, and Zack Ryder's obviously from Long Island, so he's like, oh, I'm gonna go party at Long Island. They're like, no, we're gonna go across the bridge and party there. And so they kind of it's like not like fighting each other, but just kind of like, okay, fine, you go do your thing. And then
But I thought Enzo was from Jersey, but Big Cass was from New York.
maybe, I don't know, but they were arguing. Yeah. Yeah. But so then in Mojo, he's like, they don't know who he's gonna go with. They're like, oh, you're gonna go with him, and he says, he goes, bro, I'm going where the tits are at. And I swear, and I was like, whoa, what? And I rewind, and I swear to God, that's what he's saying. I rewound it like 8 times just to make sure. I swear he says, I'm going where the tits are at. And I was just like, what? It's like, that's amazing. Like, that's our new cue, the clip. We need that. I was like, did he just say that? So I'm guessing he's going to hang out with Titty Master Ambrose then.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
I was going to make the comment, that means he must have been going with Zack Ryder to New York because, based on the people in this call, New York's filled with tits. Thank you.
Nice.
Fist, ghost bump. Again. Wow, how many ghost bumps have I given out tonight? Jesus.
Oh, the ghost bumps.
It's okay, Marcus. We know you're a ghost bomb whore.
Based on how many ghost bumps I've had, but take away the fuck you for the Orton pose eating joke, I work out as I'm on 1.5 ghost bumps.
I love
Give or take inflation. Give or take inflation.
With the current exchange rate, it's about 1.65.
Yeah.
Hashtag ghost bump math.
Fair enough.
All right.
But yes, I believe we had some matches and promos or something.
We do. It's where the tits are at.
Right.
So for your match and promo,
That needs to be your new T-shirt. Like what side?
2016, October 28th, folks.
Like on the front, it needs to be like your pixel head, and on the back, it needs to say, "That's where the tits are at."
Please design Richter a tits are at T-shirt and post it on the sad.
Yes.
And
Available now for just 000.
And no, Marcus, if you're going to be accurate with that shirt, the back needs to say where the tits are at, and then on the front needs to be 2 Richter pixel heads next to each other.
Yes.
there you go.
Woo! Woo! All right, so Marcus, your match and promo.
All right, they're actually kind of related. My promo goes to the Dudley Boys because it was cool to hear one of their promos again after 10 years, did they say? Jeez. It was nice. It was short, to the point. It was great, hearing Bubba speak with his natural voice and natural accent, not without the stutter and not wearing the glasses and stuff. They were all serious. It was cool, and they're still really good on the mic. And I like that they're a good blend of how they were on TNA as Team 3D and the Dudley Boys on WWF, with Bubba being more Bully Ray than Bubba Ray, and Devon, being Devon. The Devon of the Dudley Boys with the, oh, my brother, testify. I don't know if he was that way on TNA or not. I didn't see much of Devon, I'll admit, on TNA. I saw more Bubba than Devon. But I thought it was a good blend.
Did
And
anybody ever see much of anything on TNA?
yes, good matches. And I'm
Yeah,
blessed.
they
to
brought
have
such
seen
good
this-
matches. I love that Sting vs. Jeff Hardy main event. It was great.
Like I said, I'm blessed to not have seen any of their shit matches. But
I would make the case, Jim, if you're going by the fact they had a shit match on one of their big pay-per-views, does that mean WWE is now invalid because of Brock Goldberg?
No, that just validated Goldberg.
But yeah, it made the Dudley Boys seem, for lack of a better term, legit. And just, it's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of the injection that the tag team division needed, and it'll make other teams look more legit as the storylines progress and they start beating the Dudley Boys. And just seeing them back is just, it's still like, holy shit, it's the Dudley Boys. What the fuck? Yeah, the promo was good. And the match, my match of the week is Dudley Boys versus the New Day, where the Dudleys win. Because they looked really good out there, and I don't know, part of me still kind of geeked out a little bit when they called out. They were like 3D, and then boom, the 3D. I'm like, yeah, that's old school.
We will protect this. We will protect this table. Save the tables.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love that they had a bubble wrap table. I'm like, the fuck?
The table poachers.
That was awesome. Also, I have to say, and I know he wore this for the pay-per-view, but what the fuck, Kofi? Damn shoes. What the fuck? Oh, they're, no offense. And I almost gave this an award, actually, issues, until I decided to give it the match. I almost called it the CAW award or the Create a Kofi award, because seriously, those golden winged shoes looks like something Jim would put on his CAW.
I would, but no, those are actually legitimately shoes designed by I can't remember which celebrity, but one of the celebrities designed those shoes.
I know, they look like ass. It's so fucking gaudy. I'm like, no, they serve no purpose. It looks like it's more trouble than it's not aerodynamic. You have big poofy wings getting in the way, especially on a guy whose signature move is he kicks people in the face, and you're gonna weigh his feet down. Seriously? I'm like, oh my god, those shoes just are not efficient at all. They go against how Kofi fights, and they look like ass. I'm like, oh god, those shoes are terrible.
I don't think they weigh as much as you think.
No, but still.
They're made of gold.
Yeah.
But when he takes them off, then isn't he super fast?
Yes.
I don't know, maybe I'm the only one who thinks they look stupid, but yeah, I don't like those shoes. And like, he's the only one with gold shoes. I'm like, oh, I mean, okay, if you want him to have gold boots, fair enough, that'd be fine. But oh god, those things are just no. I don't know if Richter or Jim or Mole thought those shoes were kind of dumb.
Yeah, they look like the normal New Day stuff. I mean, a lot of their attires look sort of dumb. They all look kind of dumb. But it's like, it's New Day. I don't know why they make the gimmick fun.
Yeah, but at least their stuff is normally functional, even if it is stupid.
Well, do you know what goes with stupid shoes?
What's that?
New Day socks. New Day socks.
Nice. I will say, it didn't stop him being functional, Marcus. He was still able to wrestle during a match.
True.
As well as normal.
Fair enough. I just don't like the shoes. Fair enough. What does Jim and Richter think?
I'm trying to remember. I remember him wearing stupid shoes. I don't know if it was the same ones, though.
It's the ones he wore at SummerSlam.
Oh, then yes, those were pretty dumb looking.
Yeah, they literally they wear the same outfits. That's their new outfits. The white and gold.
Don't you mean it's their New Day outfits?
Ah, I see what you did there. And Jim.
Okay. I don't get it to your own joke. Nice.
So Jim, what's your opinion on them shoes?
They're gold wing shoes. I think they're cool, but I can understand how impractical they are also.
Fair enough. Back to the Ivory Tower.
All right. So, Mole, your match and promo of the week?
My match, which I'll go with the match first, I gave it to the same one as Marcus. Don't know why I did that first, but Marcus, that's his full name.
Okay then.
But no, I like that match, and I thought it was cool that the primetime players were watching on throughout the whole thing as well. Like,
Yeah.
they keep teasing which one's going to go through a table. Is it going to be primetime players, or is it going to be New Day? Which one's going to do it? And so that's kind of cool. Instead of just being tables every week and stuff, it's going to be when they do it. It's going to be It's going to be special, if that makes sense. So that's going to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the match quality was pretty good.
Yeah.
My promo of the week, I gave to the start of Raw. Technically 2 promos, but I am counting it as 1, Rick, because multiple times they kept cutting in between the same promo, so I'm counting that as 1.
Okay.
And that is for the start of Raw with Sting coming out, with the part I didn't like and thought made no sense. He's like, I've always have respect for you, Triple H. And then but that was then, and this is now. And I'm like, you didn't have respect for Triple H. In fact, your last match, your only match in WWE, was because you don't respect Triple H. And then he talks about how Seth Rollins is no Triple H. He talks about injustice after injustice, and Seth believes he deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as wrestling legends like Bruno Sammartino, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior. He talks about the WWE title, and he's like, oh, that's the only title Sting's has never won, so he wants it. And he basically says that Seth Rollins is running like a scared little boy, and that little boy is in the middle of my world. And then we cut to backstage, and it keeps slicing between them so you can see Sting in the ring in the crowd as they're doing this. But then we see Stephanie with Sir Seth Rollins, and yeah, she turns around and completely agrees with Sting of, you're not as good as Triple H. You're not as much of a man as Triple H. Which seems to be, obviously, which is the really obvious thing, so if no one needs to say it like a theory, they're clearly hinting at Seth Rollins v Triple H.
Yeah.
That's clearly on the cards right now. But I like that promo, and like I said, Sting always cuts great promos, and the idea of cutting between them and it actually works, and like Seth Rollins is like, no, I'm just as good as Triple H. If not, I'm better than Triple H. Which he also mentions later on. He's like, but to be fair, Stephanie, when Triple H was in Evolution, if someone said he wasn't as good as Ric Flair, would he have wanted that? No, because Ric Flair was good in his day, but in Triple H's day, Triple H was the best. And he's like, Triple H was the best in his day. Now I'm the best. And it's just kind of funny how they're clearly doing it as Seth Rollins is better than Triple H, or is he? And we know when Triple H shows up probably next week or so, he's going to have something to say about that. I mean, hell, that's the only reason Undertaker got a rematch out of him is because Undertaker dared to say Triple H was not as good as Shawn Michaels. Which, spoiler alert, he's not.
It's true.
True.
Fact.
Hashtag fact. And I did the gesture for you, Rick.
Ah.
You know. Hashtag ding, the more you know.
Okay, so Jim, your match and promo? No, we almost did it.
Did someone mention Vita?
No, what have you done?
I've not done anything that hasn't already been done.
Jim,
Jim.
you completely ignored my awards.
I did not ignore your awards.
Then why weren't you responding when anyone was saying Jim and asking stuff?
Sorry. I was coughing and I took my headset off for a minute because it was falling off my head while I was coughing.
That is your awards.
Yes. So my match of the night, I gave it to Cesaro versus Owens because it was the only match I really saw. Because I got there late and the Divas thing was just beat the clock, and the Braun Strowman thing was a squash match. So really, this was the only match I saw. So Cesaro v Owens, which was a good fight. And my promo of the night, I actually originally had this as an award. I called it 2 for the price of 1. And that was the promo in which John Cena and Stephanie McMahon revealed to Seth Rollins that he has to wrestle 2 matches at Night of Champions. 1 against John Cena and 1 against Sting.
That's one I gave an award to. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. He did. So, there you go.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was a good promo.
Indeed.
All right. So for my match and promo of the week, match was the I believe this was the final match of NXT last week, but Neville and Solomon Crowe versus Jordan and Gable. Because that was a pretty good match, entertaining. One part I liked was when they had, I think it was Crow in the corner, and Gable held his little Gable towel, which was red or kind of maroon color, in front of it, and Jordan like ran at it like the running of the bulls or whatever, the Matadors, and I just thought that was kind of funny. He's like, charge at this, while simultaneously putting my name on the screen.
They did the El Torito team attack?
Kind of, yeah, except it was just those two, no third guy.
Fair enough.
And my promo of the week was when Tyler Breeze, came into William Regal's office, and while he was talking to, quote, two of the hottest free agents or whatever, like two new NXT guys basically that were indie guys, and demanded that Regal find him a partner for the Dusty Rhodes Invitational, Tag Team Invitational, and so he told him he would do that for him, that he was going to get him a partner, and that next week he would go against those two guys. And I just like that Tyler Breeze at the end, he turns to his competition, he's like, and for you guys, and he's like, smile for the cameras and say Breeze. And I was like, ooh, I like that. He's got like a catchphrase now. It's like, that's cheesy, but I like it.
That actually kind of works.
Yeah.
It's not cheesy, it's breezy.
That's true.
Ah.
Now with 100% less cheese. But yeah, I just thought
Oh,
I
God.
can't wait.
Now
I
with
can't
the...
wait
Go ahead.
I can't wait to see the entrance when WWE brings back John Morrison to team with him.
yes.
God, now I just have in my head after Jim said that and given Tyler Breeze's gimmick, and now I just have in my head easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Nice.
I can actually see him teaming with John Morrison. That would actually be cool.
Now that should be a pretty good team, yeah.
Would he then have a slow-mo app on his selfie phone? Or
Most
a selfie
likely.
Camera?
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be an interesting team.
Managed by Melina. It needs to happen.
There you go.
They'd be the new Eminem. Only the name wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
TMN.
Yeah.
M&B.
B&M?
B&M. That sounds like a Urban Dictionary thing.
Well, technically it have to be MBM because you don't have the N anymore because he's not Johnny Nitro, he's John Morrison. So
That's true.
So it had to be it had to be two M's for Melina and Morrison, and then whatever reason, so MTM or MBM or something like that.
How about TMJ?
BMM? So, boom.
How about TMJ? Make it a play on TMZ.
There you go.
Tyler, Melina, and
We
John.
already have a play on TMZ. It's called BNB.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So there you have it. Our thoughts on the previous week in wrestling. And our award. Yes?
And be honest, Rick.
Mhm.
If John Morrison does come back and teams with Tyler Breeze and they come up to the main roster and they have an actual run, you want an awkward exchange backstage between them and J&J Security,
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
where Tyler Breeze and John Morrison just sort of snub him with like, oh, don't look, this is awkward. Walk with a hand, like a hand gesture you do. You're like, oh, don't see me.
And then it turns into a tag team feud of Morrison and Breeze managed by Melina versus J&J Security managed by Nydia.
It's like I'm also surprised that with J&J Security. I'm surprised they didn't mention anything at all with the fact Sheamus was on TV with them.
Was he?
Yeah, Sheamus was back at one of the parts. Sheamus was there during one of the parts where they were on TV. They never overlapped. You'd kind of think Jamie Noble would hold a grudge.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking they would run into the awkward thing with J&J Security, and then as they turn to snub J&J Security, they turn right into the Miz. It's like, what you looking at?
Miz should join
oh.
them.
Yeah.
there you go.
That would be an amazing, overly egotistical stable. That'd be like the most egotistical stable ever. Of Tyler Breeze, The Miz, John Morrison, and Melina.
That would be interesting.
Do you know
Hell.
how over Tyler Breeze would get if he teamed with Morrison and The Miz?
Hell, but like I said, if you could bring back Melina, bring back Maurice too for The Miz.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's the new Eminem, Melina and Maurice.
That took Richter a minute to realize.
I was like, wait, which? Oh yeah, I do remember her.
He's like, Maurice? Oh my god, yes.
Yeah,
She's a
wait,
thing.
wait a minute. You do realize why that makes more sense, right, Richter?
No.
The Miz is married to her.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Go Miz.
Yep, that's what you'll notice if you go back and watch like WrestleMania footage and stuff. You'll see her at every single event on the arm of The Miz.
Ah.
Which I will say, whenever we've had stables in WWE, and I can't believe you have to say that, whenever we had stables or groups in WWE, there's normally a certain type to them. Like they're either completely evil, or they're completely dominant, or they're completely badass, or something like that. You know what I mean? There's, or they're anti something, or all this crap. These, if they did that group, which they won't, but if they did that group, it would be basically like Tyler Breeze's gimmick for a stable. That would be fucking amazing. And then Miz would pull that off too, and it's like that would be an amazing group, because I don't think we'd ever had a group ever as a stable that's more likely to concentrate on their own face than talk about how they're going to smash in yours.
The anti-Uggos.
Yes.
That should be one.
And
And they
even
need
though
to recycle Cody's old mirror.
Yes. And even though I know there's a staple called this out there, I will say they need to recycle the old SmackDown theme of Marilyn Manson's of the beautiful people. The beautiful people.
Hey, you, what do you say?
Yep.
Todd
Todd Pettingale, Scott Hall, Marilyn Manson. Yep, this has been a pretty topical show today.
Pretty much.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had a 32-year ago murder.
Yeah, don't forget, we had domestic abuse, false imprisonment, and multiple murders.
Well, to be fair, it wouldn't be modern times unless we're destroying a star from that era.
Mm-hmm. And of course, as always, rampant racism.
Of course.
Take us home, Hammy.
That's Captain Hammy.
Captain Hammy.
And let's not forget rampant sexism too, talking about how the man is keeping women down.
We're sorry the man is keeping you down, Marius.
Wow.
Hammy.
All right, so thank you everyone for joining us for another weekend review of wrestling with our awards and match and promo.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, where the fuck has Damian Sandow been?
Trying to get a new gimmick?
Up,
Yeah,
up, down, down.
He got Hoganed. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
sizzled.
Yeah, he has a new gimmick. He's the somewhat entertainment on Up, Up, Down, Down.
Fair enough.
I like
Can we make that a t-shirt
which.
of Captain Hammer of the SAHD Enterprise?
Nice.
Isn't there
And
already?
just your little pixel head on like Picard's body.
Isn't there already a
SAH
Captain Hammer?
Ivory Tower.
Okay, you'll be Captain Rickles.
Oh, that's no.
No,
no to Captain Rickles. Captain
No, he'd
Hammer
be-
is then.
He'd be Captain Sad, SAHD of the USS Ivory Tower. Make it sad, number one.
It's- That's like the most depressing order.
it is. It really is.
And I'll also ask Rick, as a gamer, since I mentioned it 000, will the SAD app have microtransactions? Because we're totally loving this suggestion.
Yes.
Oh, good.
It's pay to win.
Oh,
I
thank
want
God.
everyone to complain about it.
Yay!
Woo!
All right,
Wrap it
so
up.
thank you everyone for joining us. Please come back next week with some more wrestling fun. Thank you very much, and good night.
And more Arcade Wrestling.